Hello everyone, I am Advocate Mahesh Agrawal, Solapur, Maharashtra. I am practicing in Solapur District and Sessions Court since last 36 years. I was a professor in law college here. I have taken training programs for the judicial magistrate exams, written certain law books for the law students, lawyers, as well as judicial magistrates. Let me tell you, we are going to start this law series. I am sure that this series will be very much useful for the LLB students, for those who desires to appear for judicial magistrate exams, practicing lawyers, especially on criminal side, and all the persons who are law lovers. Every lecture will be relating to civil and criminal laws. It will cover all the topics which will be surely useful for all the students of law as well as to the practicing lawyers in their day-to-day practice. Stay with us for enjoying the study of law and for discussions. Your suggestions will be very much useful for me to improve the quality. You can enjoy these lectures at home as per your own convenience. That may be before the college time, before your regular day-to-day affairs. Friends, today we are going to start with a very interesting topic which is known as stages of crime. This is the topic from the Indian Penal Code, that is on criminal side. Criminal topic is there. Before going to the actual topic, I would like to state certain interesting facts about the introduction of Indian Penal Code in the history of judicial history of India. Some interesting facts are there by way of introduction to the IPC. In 1765, British East India Company acquired some provinces in India and started their rule in India. Mohammedan criminal law was in existence in those days, but by efflux of time, by passing of time, the defects in this particular Mohammedan criminal law revealed, and therefore the East India Company was in mood to remove such type of defects, and therefore they were trying to remove these particular defects by passing some good law which may be applicable to the Indian people. In 1833, a Charter Act was passed, and by passing this act, some powers were given to appoint law commission. Accordingly, a law commission was appointed. Sir Babington Macaulay was the main person in the commission along with others, and this law commission submitted a draft on penal code to the Governor General in Council in the year 1837. The draft was revised by Sir Peacock and some others. In 1850, the draft was completed and it was presented to the Legislative Council. In 1860, the final bill was passed and it received the necessary assent of the Governor General, and in this way the Indian Penal Code came into existence. In fact, from 1st January 1862, the Penal Code came into force in India. The Indian Penal Code provided for the uniform criminal code to the people of India, irrespective of their caste, religion, color, etc. Absolutely, there was no discrimination on any of such grounds, and such type of similar law was made applicable to all the people. This is the introduction of Indian Penal Code in Indian judicial system in nutshell. Now, by way of salient features of IPC, I would like to tell you that since 1860 onwards, that is from the coming into force of this particular legislation, absolutely there is no amendment whatsoever. Substantial amendment, one should say. Of course, I don't mean to say that there are no amendments in Indian Penal Code. There are amendments, but these amendments are caused because of the change in society, changes in the crime nature, etc., etc. For example, in the year 1983, a new section, that is 498A, was introduced for the first time, which was providing cruelty against married women. Thereafter, there are certain amendments in section 354, section 375, etc., etc. But except this new introduction, there is absolutely no change in the legal definitions of offences provided in IPC. Second salient feature, as far as this penal code is concerned, you will find that there are as much as 511 sections which are provided in almost 23 chapters. Of course, one should not get afraid of such type of huge law, because here you will find that chapter number 1 to 5 and chapter number 23, that is the last chapter, these chapters deals with the general principles of law that can be called as a general law, while rest of the chapters, that is chapter number 6 to chapter 22, these chapters deals with various kinds of offences and punishments for those offences. So friends, here Indian Penal Code is interestingly known as Interesting Penal Code. The offences provided and definitions given in long back, near about 160 years, those offences and their definitions, they stand still intact till today. As just now I told you that absolutely there are no amendments whatsoever in the wordings of those offences defined. And it is very curious to note that what will be the thoughts in the mind of the persons who drafted this IPC. They have anticipated the guilty intention, they have anticipated the human behavior, they have anticipated the psychology of human behavior and drafted those sections by incorporating the particular words in those sections. So friends, here this is all about the introduction, and now let us have a look to the topic scheduled today, that is stages of crime. Now, what do you mean by crime? That is also a thing to be considered at the first instance. As a general definition, it can be very well said that crime means a guilty conduct, a sinful act, any act prohibited by law, any act made punishable under any law. Such type of thing can be called as a crime. That is a human conduct, a guilty human conduct, a wrongful human conduct as such. So friends, here the crime is also known as an offense, a guilt, a wrongful behavior, a criminal act, etc., etc. So here these are the similar words which are used to mention about the crime. Now, stages of crime. In fact, there are 4 stages of crime. It is not that the crime has taken place all of a sudden. There must be some stages which the person goes before commission of a crime. Of course, some offences may be may happen abruptly or in the spur of moment, but they are very few in nature. Generally speaking, the crime goes from four stages. Number one, an intention or an idea in the mind of a person to commit an offense. This is stage number one. Next is preparation. Third is an attempt. And number four is accomplishment of an offense, that is actual commission of an offense. So friends, let us have a look to some details about these four stages. Number one, an intention or an idea in the mind of a person. An intention to commit an offense, an idea to commit an offense. This is the first stage in commission of an offense, and that idea comes in the mind of a person that he wants to do, he wants to commit an offense, he wants to commit a wrongful act. According to him, the act may be innocent according to him, or otherwise, that may not be amounting to an offense. But here, there is an idea in the mind of a person. Of course, here, as just now we've seen, that there is an idea. Idea is there, this idea will be invisible. Such type of idea may be dropped at any moment of time by the person in whose mind this comes. So friends, here the law do not propose to impose any kind of punishment over such idea, because firstly that this idea cannot be looked into, this idea cannot be inferred until the offense is committed, and therefore the first stage is absolutely not punishable under any provisions of law. Let us understand this particular aspect, this stage number one, by one example. A very well desire to commit murder of Z. Reason may be different, reason may be the reason may be different from the facts and circumstances from the mind of this Mr. A. But he is having grudge against Mr. Z to kill him. But some days after, he has dropped that idea. Now question comes whether Mr. A can be punished by any provision of law. Law says that no, because this is not made punishable under any law. Now friends, here stage number two comes, that is by way of preparation. When there is an idea, the person tries to accomplish that idea, and for the purpose of this accomplishment of this idea, he tries to gather the instruments, gather the means, gather the weapons, arms, ammunitions for the purpose of fulfillment of this idea, and that can be known as a preparation. Generally speaking, up to the stage of preparation, the law does not propose any kind of punishment, because this may be an innocent preparation which is not made punishable. Now suppose A wants to burn the house of neighbor, and therefore he has collected a drum containing petrol or a kerosene and matchstick with him, and he has brought these articles in his home and they are kept there. Now question arises whether Mr. A can be prosecuted for the purpose of this preparation. Law says no, because here up to this stage the preparation is not made punishable, but IPC provides for punishments for preparation of some grievous offenses, some serious offenses, some offenses serious in nature. Now what are those offenses? Let us have a look to those offenses. Number one, section 122, that deals with collecting arms, ammunitions with intention to wage war against the state. Of course, waging war against the state, naturally that is a serious thing, and therefore it is made punishable. Number two, committing depredation on territories of power at peace with the government of India, that is provided under section 126. Making or selling instrument for counterfeiting coins, that can be seen in section 233. Next is making or selling instrument for counterfeiting Indian coins, that is 234. Section 235 provides for possession of instrument or material for the purpose of using the same for counterfeiting coin, possession of weights and measures, that can be seen in section 266. So friends, here these are the offences which are specifically provided punishable even for the stage of preparation, and therefore any kind of preparation towards commission of such type of offence, that is made punishable under the Indian Penal Code. So friends, in nutshell, it can be very well said that any preparation towards commission of these offences is made punishable, that is a substantive offence, and therefore that is made punishable. So friends, here this is all about in respect of stage number 2 as a stage of crime. The next stage in stages of crime is an attempt. A very peculiar kind of situation here, friends. Stage number 3, we can prepare the definition like this, definition of the term attempt like this: intentional preparatory action. Intentional preparatory action will be known as an attempt. And you will find that all these 3 ingredients are included in this particular definition. Intention, there is an intention, there is an idea to commit an offense. Second is a preparation. And number 3, attempt is there, overt act is there, some act is there. Some act is there on the part of a person who desires to commit an offense, and therefore an attempt can be made punishable under IPC. You'll find that absolutely there is no definition of the term attempt to commit an offense in IPC, but there are certain provisions providing attempt punishment for attempt to commit a particular kind of offense. Let us have a look to the certain provisions in IPC which provides for punishment for attempt to commit particular offense. Number 1 is waging war or attempting to wage war against the government of India. Number 2, attempt to commit assault on president, governor, with intention to compel or restrain from exercising lawful powers. Attempt to commit dacoity, murder, culpable homicide not amounting to murder, robbery, attempt to commit suicide, that can be seen in section 309 of IPC. And last section is section 511, which provides for punishments for attempting to commit offences punishable with imprisonment for life or any other imprisonment. Now friends, here 2 things I would like to mention here. As just now I have seen, attempt to commit suicide is made punishable. A very peculiar kind of position you will find in IPC. If there is an attempt to commit suicide, that is made punishable, as just now I told you, under section 309. But if the person committing this act is successful in commission of an offense, that is in committing suicide, that is not made punishable. So very peculiar kind of situation as far as section 309 is concerned, which is by way of a thing to be considered. And the second thing is section 511, that is the last section of IPC. You will find attempt to commit certain offences is made punishable, but the offence must be punishable with imprisonment for life or with imprisonment. And therefore friends, while reading this section, last section, you should be very careful that unless and until the offence is punishable with imprisonment for life or with any kind of imprisonment, that offence, that attempt cannot be made punishable. So friends, here this is a very peculiar kind of situation as far as attempt to commit particular offences is concerned. So here, after the stage of preparation, there is an attempt at the hands of an offender. That is a step further after preparation towards commission of a crime as he intends to commit. So attempt is also made punishable. The last stage is actual commission of an offense or accomplishment of a crime. There is an idea, there is a preparation, there is an attempt, and the offender is successful in commission of a crime, and certainly there must be a punishment provided for such type of actual commission of a crime. As far as IPC is concerned, you will find that various kinds of offenses are provided. Similarly, punishments are also provided. Now, when an offense is committed, the criminal code will be competent to punish the offender. Certain procedure is also provided for, as you will find in CRPC, the manner of investigation, powers of police, powers of magistrate, etc., etc. Those things will be covered when we are going to discuss various provisions in CRPC as such. Now friends, here as far as commission of an offense and punishment of offenders is concerned, you will find that some basic principles are to be needed to be considered. Presumption of innocence is there. Presumption of innocence in favor of the accused is there. Every accused before the court is presumed to be innocent unless and until the guilt against him is proved by the prosecution. This is number one. And second is that the prosecution is under legal obligation to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. Now, what do you mean by reasonable doubt? That is also a term, debatable term. But here the thing remains that the prosecution will have to prove its case against the accused, and the accused is absolutely under no obligation to prove his innocence. Of course, during the course of trial, the accused is going to take advantage or benefit of general exceptions as provided in IPC by itself, right from section 76 to 106. Various kinds of general exceptions are provided, which we are going to discuss in detail after certain lectures are over. In due course of time, we are going to see in detail as to what are those general exceptions and how they are very interesting to be considered. Now friends, the last topic which we are going to discuss here after the stages of crime is concerned, there may be certain facts which are very interesting as far as impossible attempt are concerned. Now suppose A inserts his hand in the pocket of Mr. Z for the purpose of commission of theft. He inserted the hand accordingly, but he found that there was nothing in his pocket, and immediately he has taken away his hand. Now question is, has he committed any offense? This is number one. Second example can be given that A has committed a theft of a jewelry box from the possession of Mr. Z, and he has taken away the box, and in lonely place when he has opened the box, he found that the box is empty. Now question is, has he committed any offense? So these are the questions which naturally come to our mind, that whether if there is nothing in the pocket, if there is nothing in the jewelry box, whether he has committed any offense or no. Of course, here our parent High Court, that is Bombay High Court, has resolved this particular doubt, and it has been laid down that even such type of attempt can be punished, though the attempt is to do an impossible act. So friends, here this is all about these stages of crime, that is the today's topic. Stay with us to discuss further things in due course.